Hello, I'm Bartling, and I certainly hope that you're going to enjoy this episode of Dow's Weekly Digest. You know, even though I was an Army brat, I guess am an Army brat. Once, always one, you're always one. I spent half of my childhood packing boxes, unpacking boxes, and then repacking them. Just when I knew where all the light switches were on the house, we moved. But get this. Somehow, I've managed to live in South Dakota for more than half of my life. That's hard for me to believe, but it's true. And I'll tell you something. The spirit here in South Dakota never quits surprising me. It's got a toughness, but a sweetness too. Kind of like the corn cob jam I tasted at my Uncle Leo and Aunt Emma's farm in Bridgewater, South Dakota. Now, if you've never heard of corn cob jam, you might be thinking, that can't possibly be good. Jam from corn cobs? Well, it's really light, looks almost like honey. And it's surprisingly good. It's got a sweetness to it. Same goes for Blutwurst. Blutwurst. German, I believe, is German for blood sausage. And it's a very dark sausage. But you have that blood sausage with crackers, and I know you take one look and you think, no. Then you take a bite, and you think, well, Albie, that's not half bad. That's South Dakota for you. And that brings me to a story that I recently read in a magazine that I get, and I always enjoy the stories. The magazine is called the South Dakota Magazine. If you don't have it, get it. But in that magazine, there was an article about a little place called the Crooked Fence Ranch up near Houghton, which is up by Aberdeen. Now, you got to appreciate a ranch with a name like that, the Crooked Fence Ranch. That tells you two things. They don't pretend to be perfect. And they're probably too busy working on other things to fix a fence that still mostly stands. Now, Russell and Jane Wright, they run the ranch. And they have this philosophy I wish more people would live by. It's this: nothing goes to waste. They raise sheep. They raise sheep on the Crooked Fence Ranch, a special breed of sheep from California, kind of an Asian sheep. But like most sheep ranchers, they've got a real problem with something called waste wool. You see, not all wool is created equal. The stuff from the belly and from the back end. Well, let's just say nobody is knitting real nice sweaters out of that. No, sir. It's matted. It's discolored. It's thin. And for decades, sheep ranchers just threw it out. It was a nuisance. They would burn it. It was a burden, a headache with the smell. But the Wrights looked at that pile of worthless wool and asked a very South Dakota question. Is it really worthless? Or are we just not thinking hard enough? And that's how they helped pioneer something called super wool, turning what used to be trash into something unexpectedly valuable. They take that messy, unwanted wool and turn it into things like fleece nuggets. Now, fleece nuggets are little pellets you toss into your garden. They slowly release fertilizer, and they're full of nitrogen, and they hold water like a tiny little wool sponge. That super wool could be used for mulch. Just put a little clump of it next to your tomatoes, and it feeds the soil, and it annoys the rabbits. And it can be used super wool for insulation, because wool has been keeping living creatures warm for thousands of years. Why not keep a few homes warm? Now that's ingenuity. That's South Dakota. And it leads me to 2 life lessons that I would like to leave with you today. 1, most things and most people have more value than you see at first glance. Whether it's corn cob jam, German blood sausage, or a pile of wool you're ready to toss in and burn. Sometimes the good stuff is hiding under a layer of, well, it just looks useless. You just have to look again. Lesson number 2. Waste is often just opportunity wearing dirty work boots. The Wrights didn't invent wool. They didn't invent dirt, ranching, or gardens. They just looked at the leftovers, the scraps, and asked, what can this become? Imagine how different our world would be if more and more of us just ask that same type of question, just a little more often. What can this become? So the next time you think something or someone is useless, remember the folks at the Crooked Fence Ranch. And remember that pile of belly wool. It's not about what it is, it's about what it could be. And that's a lesson this old Army brat keeps learning. Even after all these years, over half my life in the great state of South Dakota. And I do know this. There are 2 types of financial professionals. Those that do business with financial markets and those that wish they could do business with financial markets in South Dakota with the spirit of South Dakota. And blessed are they who ease the pain of misfortune, for they shall be called insurance agents. You take care.